We're here with Trevor, Esports Director in Buena Vista University. How's it going, Trevor?
I'm good. How are you doing, Ivan? Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for having us and for sharing all the information about your esports program and for students to get a more transparent look at it.
Yeah.
So to start, explain us a bit about you. What is your background? How did you get to be a esports director in Buena Vista?
Yeah. I've been in higher ed for about 16 years.
Hmm.
I started in athletics as a sports information director, taking the stats, writing press releases, um, nominating students for athlete of the week, stuff like that. And then moved to Buena Vista 9 years ago and started a different opportunity as the director of recreation under student success here at BV. And so I was in charge of our outdoor recreation program and then our intramural program as well. And so, and then I did that for 6 years. I also helped coach football, not soccer, but American football for 5 years here as well. And then our former president started challenging us about starting an esports program. If it, you know, Figuring out if we should go full in, give scholarships, all that stuff, or should we just treat it as a club or whatever. And so I went to the NACAD, which is the National Association of Esports Coaches and Directors Conference down in Des Moines, Iowa. This was right before COVID hit, but kind of started challenging our administration to tell them if we're going to start esports, we have to do it right. You want to have somebody that's committed to the program, to the students, give them opportunity to express themselves on the esports side, the gaming side, give them opportunities for leadership, stuff like that. So, and then they came to me and said, "Hey, do you want to switch your path from the director of rec to the director of esports?" And I'm like, "Well, I've coached and I've kind of been around the traditional side. I mean, I think I had some good things I could bring to an esports program." So I said, let's jump in and see where we can go with it. And now here we are. We're about this our third year. We announced it right in like April of 2020. So right during COVID.
Nice. And how is it advancing? Are the students interested more in the gaming side, more in the esports side? Like, so
Um,
it's intramural, but what do you think is going to happen for the next 2 years? Let's say it this way.
at BV, I would say, even in the last 2 years, we are a varsity sport, in my opinion. I mean, we recruit for it, we give scholarships for it. Um, I would say most of our students are interested in the gaming side, like let me compete, let me practice with my teammates, stuff like that. But we do find some students that are interested in the more in-depth esports side of things, like marketing, graphic design, animation. We had a couple students do some broadcasting with some of the leagues we played in. So we do have some students that are interested in that, but most of our students are on the like want to compete and play the game.
And for those students that are interesting, also the competitive gaming, but might have an interest or like in spirit to when you say like in marketing or like in the social
Mm-hmm.
media part or graphic
Yep.
design or production, do they also get work study opportunities in order to work for the esports program?
Yep. So if we can find a student and recruit a student, let's say that is really interested in broadcasting, we will
Mhm.
treat them just like a player. As long as you're bringing something to our program and investing in trying to grow our brand and our some sort of way, as far if it's competition, if it's broadcasting, if it's social media, if you're helping us continue to grow as a program, we will, and we're recruiting you, we'll offer you a scholarship for any of those things. It could be coaching, it could be broadcasting, streaming, graphic design, all that stuff. We also have work study positions. So if a student comes in and doesn't know if they want to compete, but they want to be involved in the program, we can find something for them to help out with. If it's helping with creating graphics or doing something with animation or whatever their expertise is it journalism, maybe write some feature stories on our players and it's posted on our website. And they have work study, we will give them a job to help us, continue to grow our program.
Mhm.
And then we also have done some internships as well. So students that are interested in esports and need to do an internship, we have done that as well.
Okay, great. And more like in the day to day, like how would a day to day look like for a student in an esport program?
So at BV, obviously, we're a small private institution, and pretty much if you're in college, your main focus, in my opinion, needs to be academics. Most of them are not here to go pro in any type of sport or anything, and that's esports included. So, um, first, I need to get to their classes. Most of them have classes starting anywhere from 8 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. Most people are done by 2 or 3 in the afternoon, maybe a little bit earlier, depending on your schedule, all that stuff. So get to your classes, and then some of them will fit in if they have an hour break in between classes, they'll go to our lab or arenas and do some practicing, get a game or two in. Um, Depending if you're a freshman or depending on your GPA, you might have to do some study table hours that we require, um, just to help keep them on track. So they might have to try and fit that in. Obviously, they got to eat. So lunch is breakfast, lunch. Now, you know how students are 18 to 22 years old. Some of them don't eat breakfast. Most of them probably don't eat breakfast. So you'll see them at lunch. Um, Maybe go to class again. Some of them are involved in other things like choir or another sport, so they might have to go to practice for that. And then, in the evenings, we have a scheduled practices for each one of our teams, and then some obviously competitions as well. So usually those start between 6 and 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night.
Okay, great. And is there competitions also like online, but also LAN events? Do you go to LAN events during the year?
Yeah, we try and find. We would like to go to 4 a year, but it all depends on travel. Where they are, what games are
Mhm.
being offered. Are our students available to go? So we've been to two a year in the last 2 years. So we would like to go to at least two more per year, but it just kind of all depends on where they're at and that type of thing. Obviously, we're not a Boise State or a Northwood or Maryville that might have the sponsors, the prize winnings, the budget to travel a little bit farther. So we look for more events that are within 4 or 5 hours away.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Uh, al- Also, like more like in the program, what is the technology you provide to the students?
Do you need to know the specs and everything, or
No,
just
no,
okay?
just a
Yeah.
better
So
experience.
we have three different spaces or three different rooms, that are right pretty much next to each other. One room has 20 PCs in it. The other room has 10, and we will probably be up to another. We're trying to get another three or four in there as well. So we should have close to 15 to 20 in there by the fall. So then we'd be at about 35 to 40 PCs total.
Okay.
Um, and they're both pretty much set up the same. They're pretty much same specs. Some computers are a little bit older than others, but um, students can go in there pretty much whenever they want to. We shut the or try and have campus security go down there and move people to their rooms by like midnight, at the latest during the school year, or at least from Sunday to Thursday. They should be focused on getting some sleep, stuff like that. And then we have another space that has a broadcasting booth, and then a couple switches, PS5 and Xbox Series XS, that our students can use as well. So that room's mostly for Smash, and then we have some Madden, FIFA, 2K players as well. So they can, if they don't have the next gen software or the next gen consoles, they can go in there and use what we have.
Okay,
So
that's right. And now that you mentioned a few titles, like what are the titles you have?
So the main titles that we kind of focus on are the team ones. So we have League of Legends, Rocket League, Valorant, Smash. We have going to start Overwatch this year. Rainbow Six. Trying to think, that might be Valorant. Did I say Valorant? So those are most of the competitive titles that we have. We have Fortnite as well, but I would say League, Valorant, Rainbow, Smash, Rocket League, Overwatch are the
Okay,
big ones.
okay, great. Before you mentioned something about like the students that weren't that doing that writing class will be assigned like study time. Like, what GPA do you like is required to be in the esports program? Because sometimes the schools are like, okay, this is a GPA you need
Yeah,
in school, but like the esports program is like, no, this is the GPA you need to be in the
yeah,
program.
yeah. I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, here at BV, it's kind of something I struggle with a little bit because NCAA Division III does not have really any GPA requirements for traditional student athletes. As long as they're in good academic standing or enrolled in 12 credits, they can compete. So we've kind of followed that model, but we are putting few stipulations on it. So to be honest, like as long as a player's registered, um, in good academic standing, they can compete for us. If they go on probation, academic probation,
Mhm.
um, they have some other stipulations that they have to meet, like meeting with somebody in our Center for Academic Excellence, meeting with their advisor. Um, there's a couple other things, that getting 5 hours of study table in. If they're doing all those things, I'm fine with them still competing because they're showing initiative to get back on track in the classroom. But if they start missing those things, then they're going to get suspended. We have not done a good job of doing that, but I think we have to set a precedent because kids just stopped going to class and they were still playing,
Yeah.
playing their game. So moving into next year, we will have a little bit more of we have an academic contract that we've wrote up that they're going to have to sign. And if they go on probation and they don't meet the requirements that are set for them, then they're not going to be able to compete.
Okay. No, that's great. That's great. Also, like when they when they represent, like when they get in the esports program and they're representing it, what do you require from them? Like behavior, like like
Mm-hmm.
what are your standards, basically?
Yeah, so we want, like I was talking about before, when we recruit kids, we want kids that are excited about being with the program. They're gonna, that are gonna represent BVU, BVU Esports themselves in a respectful manner and a manner that's looked at across campus as they're doing something right? So um, obviously any toxicity, we do not condone that. So if we hear that there something is going on or there's somebody being toxic, we will have a conversation with that person. We will, make sure that they understand the seriousness of it. Um, you know, we also have some things set in place if they get in trouble in the dorm rooms or they're out having fun one night and they get in trouble with the cops, like stuff like that. Like every situation is a little bit different, so we handle everything a little bit. Obviously, we want to try and set a precedent that there's punishments for things that you do wrong, but we have to figure out what goes on in each situation before we set those, or decide what we're going to do with that player. Um, the biggest thing is just be a good human. Help each other out. We have close to 70 students in our program, so it's a busy space. It's there's something going on every night of the week, and get to know each other. Just because you're on the Rocket League team doesn't mean you can't support the Overwatch team, and vice versa. Let's not have beef with one another just because you're playing a different game. I've seen that in traditional sports where the football team doesn't like the hockey team, or the baseball team doesn't like the basketball team. Um, that's not what we should be supporting everybody and helping where we can. So even with streaming, we try and stream on Twitch as much as we can. So we make our teams do it. So if Rocket League's not playing on Monday and Valorant is, well, Rocket League, you better figure out a time to, if somebody needs to help stream that or broadcast that event, and vice versa. When Valorant's not playing, they're streaming League of Legends or something, right? So we create a schedule where they're helping each other out and making sure their games are getting streamed.
Nice, nice. And also, like in the program, like, do you have like full time people, or is it more like empowering students to fill in the positions? Like, not also only like in the streaming or
Mm-hmm.
the whatever example, maybe in the coaching side as well. And
Yep.
others, like, what is your approach to having a full team for our niche program?
Yeah, so we do have a full-time assistant director who obviously helps pretty much with. He's more of the gamer, so he helps with the coaching. He helps with some VOD reviews.
Mhm.
He helps with recruiting. Um, we obviously monitor our students' academics pretty heavily, so we each try and monitor that as much as we can. So yeah, we do have a full-time paid assistant director, and then but we still like to empower students to lead, and to help run things that we might not have time to do. Like I know some directors are at every practice and at every competition. Well, we're pretty hands off when it comes to that, to be honest. My assistant Connor will be more involved in some of that stuff than I am, but um, we like to allow for captains or leaderships, um, um, opportunities for upperclassmen, so they help keep things in line with each team. Um, just like the streaming thing, we like to empower them. If you want your stuff streamed, well, then you guys better figure it out together on who's going to stream somebody else's match, right? So um, I work and I do this with when I ran intramurals, or I still do run intramurals, but I do the same thing. I have two or three leaders, and then about six or seven other younger students that are helping manage those games. And we meet once a week, and then there you kind of run all the games and do the scheduling stuff like that. So it's a great leadership opportunity for those students, and
Nice.
I'm here to support them. I don't think at our level, at least when we're not in it, to like, yeah, maybe some point we might be in it to win a bunch of money and stuff like that. But our whole job, especially at a small private institution, is giving our students opportunities to grow as a person and give them the opportunities to figure out how they can lead different types of people and manage a team that's on the same page and all that stuff. And we're here to support them. If they run into an issue, come talk to us and we're going to help you out. But this is an opportunity for you to grow and handle some conflict if it comes up or whatever. So
That was I was gonna ask you like, what is the objective of your program? Because some turns are like, I want to be the best program in the nation, probably, or like the best academic, but
Mhm.
you just answered the question, so amazing. And just to wrap it up, um, what is in the surroundings of Buena Vista for students to like do in the weekends when
Yeah.
they after the classes and their practice and competition? What can they do around?
Yeah. So we sit on about a 3,000 acre lake. So we have a place down by the lake called the Rec House, and there are canoes and kayaks and fishing equipment and bikes and rollerblades. In the winter, there's ice skates, there's camping equipment. I mean, so students can check all that stuff out for free. There's a nice walking trail around the lake that students can do. There's a bunch of parks. Actually, one park has a mini soccer pitch that they have down there, and then they're putting in some pickleball courts. There's a basketball court down there. Um, as far as there's a movie theater in town. There's a bowling alley, like a town over. It's a pretty small community. I mean, there's probably 11 or 12,000 people. Very diverse population. So I think in the school system, like the high school, elementary school system, there's like anywhere from 15 to 20 different languages spoken. So a very diverse community. So we utilize that as an opportunity for our students to get out and meet different types of cultures and help them where they can learn something from them and sometimes try and get them on campus to do some promoting as well. So I don't know, we have a lot of programming that goes on with student activities, a lot of different traditional food places in town, Mexican, Chinese, different Asian type Thai food, stuff like that. And then each way there's like Sioux City is like an hour and 15 minutes. Fort Dodge is like an hour. They're a little bit bigger cities with a little bit more to do. So that's why we think it's important to get people on the same page. So if somebody comes from Texas or international or whatever, like, and they don't have a car, well, you have 70 students right here that let's make some friends and they might have a car and you can go tag along with them. And, we challenge our students that are from the area to, if you have somebody on the team that's from Texas and can't go home for Thanksgiving, well, bring them with you.
Mhm.
Obviously, if I'm around, I will have something at my place for the people that aren't able to go home. But I challenge our students to like, let's involve people and make them feel like they're at home. I mean, I went 6 hours from home and didn't go home for everything. So I had some friends within the area to go to. So I would hope our students do the same for those types of students.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, because I went to the States for tennis to university as well, the tennis scholarship, and like the in the tennis team, like all, all the Americans, the locals were like
Mm-hmm.
helpful and stuff for you to adapt.
Yep.
So that's really helpful, and I know
Yep.
this happened, so that's really helpful. Well,
Yeah.
Trevor, I think I asked you everything like usually like students ask us
Yep.
in meetings with their families. I don't know. Where can students find you?
Yeah. So we're on Twitter and Instagram, just BVU Esports. Our Twitch channel is BVU Esports. I switched my Twitter, but let me get the Twitter for people for my personal Twitter. Um, let's see. Actually, let's go Instagram. I don't use Twitter that much. I do it for esports, but Trevor underscore B King on Instagram. Message me, follow me. You'll see a lot of pictures of my black lab, my dog. She's 4. She loves to go hunting and stuff like that. So you'll see pictures of her on there. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at on social media. Email Berneking T BERNEKING T at bvu.edu. That's always open as well. Shoot me a message. I love to chat with some students. Even if it doesn't work out for us, I think our job as in higher ed is, we all want people to come to our institutions, but I want students to go where they feel most comfortable, where they think they can have an impact. Obviously, that they can afford it. So if it's not BVU, that's totally fine. But let's find you a spot that you can go succeed and get your education. So
That's great, Trevor. Well, thank you for your time, and we'll stay in touch for sure.
okay, thank you, Ivan.